remember back in the late 80s, early 90s when I was a kid and I would wear my shoes out, and my parents bought this stuff called shoe goo, probably still around, and they would basically glue my shoes back together. Today we're doing something similar to that, but instead of shoe goo, I'm gonna be using this stuff called Lexel. I've used this around my house with really good results. The bottle says sticks to almost anything, so let's use this on these muck boots. Well, being that this left boot is the worst one, I'm gonna go ahead and start here. So the first thing I'm gonna do to get some of this mud off is just use some alcohol on a rag, rub it down. And the next step, I'm gonna use this wire brush, and that's because it is just rough enough that as I use this brush to remove some of the debris, you can see it is also marking up the rubber here. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna vastly improve the ability for this Lexel to adhere. I've now brushed the entire perimeter, you can probably tell. Even this area here with the toe cap. I then took my air compressor and blew out this area here for any extra moisture or anything from the alcohol rubbing and dirt that was in there, and a lot came out. And because I want this to look as good as possible, I'm actually gonna use some masking tape and tape off the area that I want to seal up. And here's our first tape job. You can see it's pretty good. It just has to give me a pretty solid area where it's not just gonna smear everywhere where I don't want it. And the last step here is to just apply the Lexel. Now let's see what happens with that. So if I just simply take my finger and rub this stuff in, I wanna get it inside this area that is lifted, like a lot in there. Now that everything is smeared, I think I'm just gonna do a final pass to try to make it look decent. Try to be careful. Look how satisfying that is. Nice clean line. All right, well, we're done with the repair, and I think it turned out really, really good. Taking a close look at this left boot here, you can see this is the one where I had to open up the seam and then put a lot of that Lexel inside of there. That seam is hanging open a little bit, but not bad. And I know the whole thing inside is completely sealed up. It's not sticky at all. It feels exactly like maybe it came from the factory like this. It even looks really good. And you can see I also did the seam here on this toe cap. Definitely is gonna be nice to be able to walk through wet grass and not get my socks wet. And how's that Lexel gonna flex when I move my foot? Well, it looks like it'll handle it just fine.